Now, Eustass Kidd. I think we all have a high expectation for Kidd in WANO, mainly because of the parallels that we know he has with Luffy, and also because given the way things have been set up, it looks like Kidd is going to be one of the main figures to take down Kaido. And recently in chapter 972, when Oden talked about the individuals that will take down Kaido, if you paid attention, it was stated that the ones at the center of this war will be the ones to take down Kaido. So it has been said in a sense that multiple individuals will take on Kaido, which makes it very plausible that this is going to be Kaido versus several characters. And Luffy and Kidd, I think, are the front runners of that, given that they have the biggest reasons to go after Kaido, and also because they were defeated by him miserably. Luffy got one shot and Kidd was pretty much betrayed. And even during the scenes in Udon prison, there were so many things here and there that Oda placed that makes this more credible. Luffy and Kidd had the same level of portrayal in the prison, with them arguing about who's going to take down Kaido first. So one-on-one is definitely not a thing for Kaido, because Oda has written Kaido to be overwhelmingly powerful that individuals like the Supernova cannot hold their own against the full power of a Yonko. And we have to remember that they were defeated by Kaido in base form, no Devil Fruit, no awakening, and no use of high tier ornament haki. Just the raw physical, incredible physical power of Kaido's base form. So they're going to need each other's help even if they don't like it. Now there's also Zoro to be talked about here, and of course there's a crazy amount of parallels with Ryuma, the dragon and the tiger symbolism, and of course Enma's role in this battle against Kaido. Oda is very big on symbolism, and I think that's something he implements a lot in the story. So I could see Zoro being a top figure in all of this as well. But there's a lot of things we have to take into account in this arc, and one of those things is that there are so many characters in Wano, both on the Alliance side and even more so on Kaido's side. And it's to the point that it's going to be hard to tell who's going to fight who. And in case of Kaido's side of things, we have another Yonko, and not just her, but also her crew, which harbor two commander level characters, one of them being Smoothie and the other being Perospero. The rest are questionable in terms of power level, but the Big Mom Pirate have a lot of versatile level users on her crew, and I think there's a reason Crackers didn't show up, because his ability is a great matchup for a war-like setting. And then we also have Kaido and the Three Calamities. We also have the Numbers, who appear to be some sort of giant demon squad that Kaido has. Now I don't think they're going to be anything special given the portrayal giants have gotten throughout the course of the story, but again, the amount of people Kaido has on his side is just way too much. It's pretty much overkill at this point. And let's not forget about the Flying Six, two of which we've already seen, being X-Drake in page 1, so that leaves 4 more. And finally the Shogun and his side of things. Now I think Kyoshiro might be an outlier here and could be on the Alliance side, but we'll have to see how that develops. And there's also X-Drake and Law, who are also moving in their own way, so I feel like there's going to be outliers involved in this arc, like the Marines potentially. I usually go back to Stampede and we get to see the varying groups that went up against Bullet. I think it might be something similar here, but who knows. But back to my original point. And so we have all these characters, and because of this, it's going to be very difficult to tell what the matchups are. And so I think people from the Alliance side of things will have several fights. Now Luffy and Kidd, we know that Kaido is their main focus, but that doesn't mean that's the only person that they are going to fight, obviously. And I think before Luffy goes up against Kaido, he might fight someone like Jack. Maybe Jack will be used as a hype tool to show Luffy's progression in power, or even King, given that they will most likely have the same level of bounty. Oda might use that to hype them up. And also because I could see Oda doing a thing where he shows that Luffy is now comfortable to go up against right hands with no issues by having him and King clash in an equal exchange, which will be nice because that would show growth on Luffy's part. But this all brings me to the main question: who is on Kidd's hit list? Now I specifically mentioned hit list because I think Kidd will most likely kill the people that he's going to go up against. That's something that Oda has said about Kidd that sort of separated him from Luffy. Kidd actually kills his enemies, or at least the ones that he's strong enough to defeat. Now even though for the most part Kidd has had an equal portrayal to Luffy and Wano, I do think there's missing variables for Kidd, and those missing variables is that he just doesn't have enough feats yet, or things that we can use to justify him being on Luffy's level. And that's one of the problems people have with Kidd. Now we know that he's been going up against Big Mom by destroying her ships and things of that nature here and there, but we know that he fought one of Big Mom's commanders, he fought Shanks Shanks' crew in a battle where he lost his arm and he tried to create an alliance with Hawkins and Apu, and that failed. So while he does have some impressive things here and there, it definitely doesn't hold a candle to what Luffy has achieved, and that makes sense because Luffy is the main character, and of course the story has more in store for him. But I think Oda is starting to build up Kid here just because of several elements that were placed in this arc, and I think we are going to see what Kid is truly capable of in this arc, and this will be especially true for other characters like Sanji and Zoro, basically people who we've questioned their power level for a very long time because of lack of fights given to them. Now in Kid's case, we had the Conqueror's Haki reveal, and that in of itself raises Kid to being a top tier character in this arc alongside Luffy, and we also know that Oda had more plans for Kid, even more so than Law, and we saw how much clout Oda gave Law. Now unlike Luffy, who has allies and a whole troop to go up against Kaido, I'm starting to wonder how Kid is going to move. Obviously he saw how Luffy rallied up everyone in Udon prison. I think that sparked something within Kid, and I think Brago did a very good video about that. Again, Kid is a different type of king, and I'm sure he's going to find his own way of handling things, and we have to remember that Killer, his right hand man, lost himself. So for Kid, there's a lot of anger there with him, and I honestly cannot wait to see how he's going to operate moving forward. But going back to the original question, before Kid gets to Kaido, I think he needs some sort of hype tool, and there's two characters that come to mind. The first one is Apu, the obvious one, and the reason for this is just because of their track record. Ever since Subode, it seems like these two have always had bad blood. It always came down to Apu always teasing Kid or something of that sort, and so you come to the new world, and when Kid was willing to create an alliance here, he was backstabbed, and this is contrary to the initial consensus that Apu was scared, so he joined Kaido. It was later revealed that Apu was with Kaido from the very beginning, and perhaps the reason that Kaido happened to suddenly land on Kid's base of all places was because of Apu. And Apu's allegiance was made very evident when he called Kaido Lord back in Zou. And so you have the pre-time skip of bad blood between them, and then you have this ultimate betrayal which led to Kid losing his crew or not knowing where they are, and his right hand man being force fed a smile. I feel like a battle between these two is definitely brewing, and I think Kid is going to absolutely slaughter Apu. Now I think Apu will show his hand here and there, his cards, and show what he's truly capable of, but I think eventually he's going to get overwhelmed and possibly killed, because that's how Kid handles things. And so Apu might be the first death in Wano, maybe, possibly. Now I would also say the same thing for Hawkins, but it seems like Hawkins did join Kaido out of fear, and even though he betrayed Kid in a way, we already know he was dismantled by Law, like literally dismantled. However, I do see Hawkins coming back in some way. I'm not sure how, but he's probably going to read his cards and give some sort of prediction again, typical Hawkins shenanigans. But that's what I think when it comes to Hawkins. Now the second individual that Kid is going to fight, that I think Kid is going to fight, now there isn't too much behind this one. I'm just going off of this one statement that Kid said. Now Kid said that he injured one of Big Mom's 3 commanders when he clarified rumors about him, and people have always wondered who this person was, and I think this person is Smoothie. I think the injury that he gave her was that he took one of her eyes, which is why it's always covered. And so I think apart from Smoothie coming to Wano because she didn't do much in Whole Cake or because Oda was saving her, I think this would add a little something there for Smoothie. I could see a thing where she wants revenge on Kid and they eventually fight. Now there's no incentive here for Kid, but I think this all goes back to putting more feet on Kid's back, and I think Kid will most likely beat her, and that would solidify his place as commander level if you didn't have him there already. And I think after these two battles, Kid's attention will be on Kaido. Now it might divert to Big Mom because we know Kid also has history with Big Mom. It was stated that he stole something from her, and we know that he's been destroying ships and stuff like that, but who knows how that's going to go moving forward. Big Mom is a very big outlier in all of this. But what do you guys think? How do you guys see some of these matchups going, and who do you have fighting who? Comment down below what you guys think. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more One Piece content. It is Pharaoh, and I will see you folks later. Peace.